All right, so now that you have decided what your exhibit is going to be, it's time to actually create your exhibit. So this is the copy of the slides that I've made for you. This is what yours is going to look like. This first slide, you don't have to do anything to. This is just kind of like an introduction, like a little cover slide. You don't have to put your name on it or anything. It just says museum. Then if you go to the second slide, this is where you're going to kind of introduce the exhibit that you have created. So I have it over here for you to fill out. Also on each slide, there will be a little box that looks like this that tells you what to do for that slide. Please delete that box on every slide whenever you are done. There is nothing tackier than turning in your project with the instructions still on it. That drives me insane. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to edit this. So it says this exhibit is titled, then it says name of exhibit. So I am going to replace that with my title. So it'll say this exhibit is titled Watercolor Animals, because that's what my exhibit is going to be, and was curated by student name, which is going to be my name, and then it says student name, so once again I replace that with my name, Miss Fortune created this exhibit because, and then I finish that sentence. Okay, so there we go. This exhibit is titled Watercolor Animals and was curated by Miss Fortune. Miss Fortune created this exhibit because as a watercolor artist herself, she is interested in how other artists choose to portray animals in their work. So you want just like a one sentence kind of summary of why you chose to do that. So then I'm going to go ahead and delete this now so I don't forget. Actually, I'm going to show you something on it first. It says, so here it says tap the image. So that's referring to this image. Tap the image and choose replace to upload a photo of yourself. So don't use insert. You're going to replace. So that looks like this. And then you click down here where it says replace. And then you could do it from your camera if you haven't taken a photo of yourself yet. If you have taken a photo, then you can do from photos. There's my photo of me. There it is. And I have put it in there and it keeps the same size because I chose to do replace instead of insert. So that way you don't have to resize your photo to fit within that frame. Then here it says add a photo of each artwork in your exhibit. Then link each artwork to the correct slide. Rewatch the video if you've forgotten how to link the slide. So that's this video because I'm about to show you how to do it. But we're actually going to go to this slide first. So for each of these, you're going to put one photo. And then what I would suggest to do is when I put the photo on this slide, then I'm going to put the photo on this slide. And then when I put the photo on this slide, then I'm going to put that photo on this slide. So I'm going to start here and I'm going to start. So slide 4 should be the original piece of artwork that you chose to base this exhibit on. So I'm going to show you mine. This is Hair by Albrecht Dürer. It was done in 1502. This is the piece that I chose to base mine on. I chose a different artist that you guys did not have on your list so that nobody would be tempted to copy exactly what I did. So I'm going to save this, add to photos. I'm also going to go ahead and copy this because I'm going to need that in a minute. I'm not going to need all of it, but I'm going to go ahead and copy it. So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to move my directions up here so I can still see them. Then I will do insert an image from photos. Click that one. I'm going to put it right there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to paste this thing that I just copied and then kind of move it up here so I can see it. So the title of the piece is Hair. The name of the artist and the year and the medium. So I'm going to put actually that is not spelled correctly. His name has a T at the end. There it is. Okay, so the name of the artist, the year, which is 1502, and it doesn't say here Google Art Project is not the medium. That's not what it was made with, but I happen to know that this is watercolor because that's what I looked up to find it. Then here I'm going to write a description of this piece. Whenever you are talking about an artist, the same as if you were talking about an author or really kind of anything when you're doing professional writing, you use the last name whenever you're speaking about the artist. Okay, so there's my description, so I'm going to leave that. I don't need this anymore, so I'm going to delete that. Don't need this anymore, so I'm going to delete that. And then while I've got this here, I'm going to copy this. I'm going to go back to my gallery. This is where everything is going to go. And I'm going to paste this in. I'm going to resize it. Please do not ever do this in any presentation you ever have to give. Do not do this. Do not use the side bars or the top and bottom. It looks terrible. I will take off points if you do that. I'm not kidding. So you use the corner to resize it uniformly so that it stays proportional. I'm going to add a little border around mine to kind of look like a frame. You can do that if you want to. It might look nice. I'm going to do a 6-point border on everything. Make it a little bit smaller. Okay, so I'm going to move these directions up out of the way for now. Now, this is the important part because you need to link this. I'm going to put it here in the center since it's the original piece. You need to link this to this slide so that when someone is looking at your presentation, if they click on this, it will take them to this slide. So here's how you do that. You click on the image. Then when it pulls up, you click Insert Link. Then you click this little drop down where it says Slides, and you click which slide you want to link it to. So in this case, I want to link it to slide 4, which says hair. And it is linked now. So if I view this in presenting mode, if I click on this, it takes me to this slide. And that's what I want to do. I can also, I've already set up these links for you. If I click on this, it'll take me back to the gallery. If I click on this, it'll take me to the next artwork. So the next thing I need to do is find another piece of artwork to go in my gallery. And I have not pre-planned this at all. So I know that I want to do watercolor animals because this is the piece that inspired the rest of my exhibit. And then I am going to, so I'm just going to open a new tab here and I'm going to say artists who paint watercolor animals and see where that gets me. Okay, so if your initial temptation is going to be to go to images. This is really not the best idea. If you look, a lot of these are from Pinterest, meaning that they're going to link you to some blog that links to another blog that links to some sort of like Redbubble page that, I mean, it's not going to get you anywhere. A lot of these are from Pinterest. You're going to find that it's not helpful. I would skip Google Images. I honestly would. So I'm going to go back to all. And I'm going to go over here and kind of start scrolling. When you look at this, again, Pinterest. Pinterest here. Fine Art America might not be a terrible place. But this looks pretty promising. This right here. This is one artist, Eric Sweet, who paints watercolor animals. And this looks like a pretty good place to start. So I'm going to go here. Yep, it looks like what he does is watercolor animals and maybe some oil paintings. So this seems like a pretty reliable source. I can look at his gallery. Sure, let's look at his tiger series. That sounds interesting. Got some photography here, and then we have some paintings down here that he did. I could definitely use one of these, and I probably will here in a minute, but I'm going to show you some other ones first. Let's see. Once again, we have one from Pinterest, not helpful. Society6, also not helpful. If you see anything that says Society6, it's a shopping website. And these are just prints, probably stolen from people, not actually. Skip Society 6. I would skip Etsy. Definitely skip Pinterest. Pinterest is going to be your worst enemy for this project. You're probably going to have to go past the first page of Google. I know it seems like if it's not on the first page, why bother? For most things in life, you're probably going to have to go past the first page of Google. Let's look at this one, ShaunaRussell.com. So this looks like a woman who has written a book about watercolor animals. Let's see. Let's look at her prints. Yeah, so she does watercolor animals. So I can include some of her work. Hers would probably actually be really good to include. I could probably do some of hers. Several of these are related to that, and that is probably because I have already clicked on it. So Google thinks that I want things like that. Once again, we have Pinterest. We have some more things related to that book that she wrote. Just scrolling through. I'm seeing several things that could probably work in here. Zazzle is another one that's not going to work. Let's look at this one. This one is a book, but from this I get Jean Haynes. So Jean Haynes wrote a book about watercolor animals, which tells me that she probably does watercolor animals. So let's look at her website. So we'll look at her galleries. Yeah, so she's got a whole page of watercolor animals here. It's broken down into different types of animals too. Okay, so for whatever reason, these don't seem like they're going to load. So I would skip her probably. Although she did have some really cool stuff. So I might try to find some of her stuff on another site. Let's look at this one. Something like this. This kind of looks like a Society 6 Redbubble type thing where you can just like download prints and print them and stuff like that. Not exactly what we're looking for. So now we're looking at watercolor animals book somehow. Now let's just look watercolor animals artist. So we looked at Eric Sweet. We see several Pinterest. Like I say, Fine Art America, not going to be the best thing. It's mostly a shopping type thing. More Pinterest. Let's look at My Modern Met. This was a great resource. You will actually, depending on what you search, there's a pretty good chance you'll get something from My Modern Met. So this is an article about an Oregon-based artist named Dean Krauser and his examples of watercolor animals, which sounds great and also sounds like I'm probably going to be able to find some information about these. And sure enough, a link to his website. And there we go. Find all sorts of things like this. So let's do a quick view, see what all we can find about this. Yeah, so I can find most things about his artwork here. Might have trouble finding the year, but overall, not too bad. So those are some examples of where you can find the artwork. I'm going to go through and find mine and paste it in there off camera so that you don't have to sit and watch me do the whole thing. But basically, you're going to do this for each of these slides. So you're going to have your one original, and then you're going to have 6 more pieces of artwork after that. Then what you're going to do is you're going to fill out this slide right here. So while I still have this, let's go ahead, come over here. So I'm going to copy the link from where I got this image. So I've copied the link so that I can cite my sources. That was for slide 4. So down here where it says slide 4, I am going to paste the link to that just like that. Actually, what I'm going to do to make it look a little bit nicer, I'm going to type source, then I'm going to double tap on that and I'm going to do insert link because that was a really long link. And then I'm going to paste it like that. So now it has linked this source, and if I was in present mode, I could click on that and it would take me to this source. So you'll do that for each one and you will save yourself so much time if, like, after you do slide 5, you paste the source for slide 5. After you do slide 6, you paste the source for slide 6. All right, so I have finished the rest of this off camera and I'm going to show you my presentation now. So I'm going to click present. All right, so again, there was nothing here that you needed to do. Then here I have typed about this exhibit with my photo of myself. And then I have all of my paintings here that I chose to feature in my exhibit. You can see them all. They are all linked to the different pieces. That one's not linked. Let's fix that right now. So if you start to walk through yours and find out that it is not working right, you should go fix it. You definitely recommend doing a full walkthrough. Let's check these other ones. So you'll see here what I'm checking. Once I click on them, I am making sure that this shows me the correct slide. Oh, that one's not linked either. Sometimes the links just don't stick right. And sometimes I forgot to insert the links in the first place. Could be either one. Okay, everything else looks like it's linked right. So now let's present again. I highly recommend doing this every time to check and make sure that your presentation is working properly before you turn it in. So now I should be able to click on these and it should be able to take me to the right one. I'm just going to click down here and walk through each slide. So this is my first piece. Over here is the title, the author, the date, and the medium, and then a little bit that I wrote about that particular piece. Here is my second piece. This is one that I got from Eric Sweet. That was the first artist that I found whenever I was looking. I'm not going to talk through all of these, just kind of let you look at them and see what I've done. If you want to pause and read my descriptions so that you can get some ideas of how to write yours, you're welcome to do that. You can't copy what I wrote, but you can kind of get a feel for what I'm looking for. And then here I have my sources. If I were to click on each of these, it would take me to the source for that particular slide so that you can see where I got it from. The only thing I have not completed on this form is down here at the bottom where it says, please fill out my Google form. I have not done that yet because I have not told y'all how to do the Google Forms yet, so I don't want you clicking on that and seeing my Google form before I explain to you how to do that. Once I post the video on how to do the Google Forms, I will come back and update this Google slide so that you can see my Google form if you want to. So if you have any questions about how to do this project, let me know.